This whole video is just going to be me trying to get over this book slump and moving forward and getting back into reading. I don't think it's been this hard for me to read since I was in college and just getting so burnt out because I was reading like peer-reviewed articles or books for class. It has been quite some time since I have been not drawn to reading, and I'm not used to this. I'm really not used to this. So like, what's up on the docket? How are we gonna fix this? How are we going to address this issue? I have plans, I have thoughts. For starters, okay, so I do have the Love of My Afterlife. I have a physical copy of it, as well as the audiobook on Libby. I'm about 6% of the way through. I don't know, I'm hoping that by doing that, like, it'll make me want to come home and like dive in. And that's what's been happening. I keep picking up books and just not being able to get through them. And I don't even think it's necessarily the book's fault at this point. I think it's me. Like, I think I'm having a problem with wanting to sit down and read, because the last few times that I have read, I've associated it with like not a fun time, because I've thoroughly not enjoyed a lot of the books that I've read this year. If we're thinking about it and including DNFs, like actual ones that I attempted to read and not just ones that I picked up and was like, I changed my mind after a page. Actual DNFs and books that I did not enjoy, that's 13 books. 13. Keep in mind, I've only read 28 books this year. We're not doing too good over here. My neighbor's dog is coming to take a crap in my yard. His favorite pastime, I swear. Do you see him down there? He's going to his tree. So far, I am not far enough into this book to give you a good overview of it. However, I love when books make me think. And already, like, I'm only on I think I'm about to start chapter 3. It's not a spoiler, it's the Love of My Afterlife, and she's literally dead, right? So, having that moment where your life flashes before your eyes, and it was a really good reminder of not to get stuck in a rut. She's like reviewing back these clips of her life. A lot of it is just her going in and out about her day, going through the motions. They all kind of look the same, having the same routine every day, and routine is not like the enemy. Routine is a really good thing for us. It is one of the most like healthy things that we can do for our mind and our body, to have a routine. However, it's so good to switch things up, and I personally have been trying to implement little changes in my life recently. Tonight we're gonna cook a fun dinner. Tonight we're gonna go out to eat. A lot of stuff is food centered. We have to eat every day. Or like, oh, let's go to the bookstore on a weekday. Let's go to my favorite antique shop just to beat bop around, see what's up. Let's go to my favorite boutique downtown after work. I did that last week, actually. I never get to go because they're always closed really early on the weekend, but they stay open until 6 on the weekdays. So I was able to go after work, and it was so lovely. Little things like that, just to like switch it up, because it makes your week feel longer. You feel so happy and fulfilled, and like, why not? So it's already making me think, like, just from that, I don't know if that'll be a constant throughout this book. However, I do like that after being in a reading slump for quite some time, it made me think right off the rip. Like, I was just like, oh, wow, yeah. And then I sat there at work contemplating not wanting that to be my memory. Like, I don't want my memories to be going to work, coming home, cleaning the house. You know what I mean? Like, I want so much more out of life than that, and I think we can all agree, like, just adding in those fun little things, they enhance your life, they enhance your mood. A little think piece on that. We have a garden, so I'm actually about to listen to that audiobook, and I'm gonna go pick some vegetables. These are our onions. They are doing pretty good. look kind of insane. Jeez, it was literally so hot out there. Quick little haul, if you will, garden haul. We got 4 peppers. This is literally the biggest one I've ever grown. Usually they won't grow past this, which is from our last time that I did a haul. We got some jalapenos. Got like 2 handfuls of jalapenos. I think I'm gonna do jalapeno poppers tonight. I don't think this view is doing anything for me, but letting my camera charge for a second. But I think I'm about to take Miss Moosey Poo on a walk, and while we do that, I'll obviously listen to the audiobook. I definitely had to change when wearing a brown fit. You know, gotta protect those inner thighs. Chafing, am I right? Fun fact, I literally only wear one earphone when I'm going on a walk because I'm scared of being hit and run over by a car. I've seen videos of people reading and like with their Kindle walking around, and I'm just like, I have never been so oblivious in my life. Like, I wish that I could live that way. Moose is really ready to go on her walk, but I wish that I could do that. Never in my life. Not coordination, one thing. Fear, a whole other beast. I wanted to talk about the book a little bit, especially because I realized I never gave a proper description of it, but essentially it is about Delphi, and she has just passed away and she gets sent to the afterlife. There's like a really eccentric woman there, and she's basically just like coaxing her through, and she's like, this is the afterlife. She makes Delphi watch a recap of her life, kind of like, she said, do you want to watch your life flashing through my eyes tape? And she's like, I don't know. And she's like, well, let's just do it, because if you don't do it now, it can never be done again. So she does it, and of course it's really anticlimactic, a little depressing, because it's not like she's been really living life to the fullest. As I mentioned earlier, it just showed the repetition of days of just waking up, going to work, never seeing friends, making friends, doing something that she loves, connecting. It's just very mundane, the day-to-day tasks that we all do, except for she never strayed from those ever. Really sad. Obviously it made her really sad, and she was just like, turn it off, I don't want to see that. And she rushes out and bumps into this guy who she has an instant spark with, and she's never connected with someone like that. She's never been in a relationship. She's 27. He is then like sent back because he's not actually dead. It was just like a blip in time where, I don't know, like maybe someone was doing CPR. It's not really explained, but she said sometimes people accidentally get sent down here and they're not really meant to be here. So I just attribute it to like someone getting CPR or something. The rest of the book is just a quest for her to find this man. She has 9 days to find him, and he has to initiate a kiss with her, and she'll be able to stay alive. And if she doesn't, she'll be destined to be that lady that she's met, like her guinea pig essentially, for the rest of her eternal afterlife, which sounds miserable, obviously. Now, skip to this point if you don't want to hear a little bit about the book. It's not too spoilery, but like I am talking about things, so I would just go ahead and skip there if you plan on reading it. And if you don't, let's chat about it. I've sort of reached a really pivotal point in the book. I'm 64% through, which is chapter 31, which is where I left off at. I kind of just wanted to talk about Delphi as a character. She's extremely unlikable, and I think that's done on purpose because the growth journey that she is going on is insane to me. And I think this book, like low-key, high-key, has some of the best messaging that I've ever seen. I'm always preaching show, don't tell. Like, show me, please, use your words, but don't tell me. Don't tell me how to feel. Don't tell me this like extreme messaging and like this life-changing thing that you're trying to get across from me. Show it to me. Miss Christy Greenwood, she's doing an amazing, a fantastic job at that. I am so thoroughly and happily like surprised by this. She is doing such a good job of showing how unlikable she is, but it's a defense mechanism. She goes into situations assuming people are going to be rude or antagonistic towards her, and she's already got that just that protective snark like queued up, and so everybody genuinely thinks that she is a mean person. And it's so bad to the point that at one point in the book, her coworkers are like, is something wrong? You're actually being nice today. One by one in each of these relationships, when she's conversing with them, and she's like, well, it wouldn't have been this way if you wouldn't have started off being rude to me. And they're like, Delphi, girl, you were the one who snipped off first. Like, I came in open arms, and you are so quick to shut someone down. People are constantly calling her out in it in conversation. Someone was like, how is it possible for you to always have the meanest version of your response ready to go? Because she really does, in a way, like, put people down and make them feel stupid, and at times, like, probably below her. But she's not doing that consciously. Does that make sense? And she is a really unlikable character in the beginning, but she's starting to grow on me a bit, in the sense that she is really experiencing this big growth, and I can really appreciate that. There's a whole other plot line going on of she was bullied in grade school. It's been like a pivotal thing in her life, and she constantly talks about her bully and how it's affected her life and how she doesn't draw anymore or do the things that she loves. I mean, she's like, it's been years, like decades since this bullying, and she still wears her hair in these skin tight braids because they once made fun of the way that her hair looked. Come to find out, she meets her bully again. One of them doesn't even recognize her, and the other is like, I haven't thought about you since then, and you weren't even the only person that I was mean to. And that conversation, like, it just goes to show we give people and their opinions so much power over us, and then they never like think about us again. And we should not be putting our worth and what we want out of life on hold for anyone ever, because chances are they're just having a bad day and lashing out. They're just mean in general. And the fact that she was like, I was mean to everyone, it goes to show she wanted to hurt as many people as possible, and you're just in my way. No remorse. And then never thought about her again. Just looked her dead in her face. I have not thought about you since then. I actually forgot you existed. And Delphi, our main character, thinks about these people every day. Every time someone is rude to her, stares at her too long, every time she's embarrassed, it takes her back to that moment, and she relives that trauma of that bullying that she experienced, and that person has legit never thought about her another day in their life. Such a good use of show don't tell. Like, the way that you can tell it made her feel, like the messaging of that, of how we should not let other people's words affect us so deeply. I was genuinely sitting there like, dang. Because the whole book, every time she gets embarrassed, it takes us back to that moment. And we're like reliving that stuff the entire time. That's insane. That blew me away, and I was like, wow. Last thing I'll say, and then I'm gonna shut up, but the whole book, Delphi is like, I'm a loner, I don't like people, people don't like me. And she has this attitude that everyone's out to get her, and no one could ever have positive intentions of wanting to interact with her. This one lady waved at her on the street, and she was like, why would someone ever wave at me? She's obviously making fun of me. People were staring at her while she was on a jog. She was like, there must be something wrong with the way I look. And it's just in every interaction that she has, she thinks that they are having a negative reaction to her, which, just by the way, it is very narcissistic to think that someone is always thinking about you. She's always saying this, and all we're met with as the reader is people wanting to be her friend. This guy she meets at the library, he just wants to help her, and she, in a moment of like having a white lie, is like, this is my best friend. And he's like, really? I'll be contacting you about that. And he keeps popping up, and he's like, he genuinely just wants to be friends with her, and he's so honored and that she wanted to be friends with him. Like, that's adorable. And then she meets this other lady who doesn't let her brashness and her harshness of her like turn her off. She just keeps pushing until the point where she's like, Delphi thinks to herself, I don't know why it's so hard for her to make friends, because she's like so nice and positive. And I was like, why am I about to cry? She's like constantly talking about how nobody wants to be friends with her, and all these people are meeting her with open arms, but because of that trauma, she just can't see past it. She is getting in her own way. She's getting in her own way, and it's such an important message that we need not do that. We need not do that. Anyway, I don't know if I'm feeling super emotional because I'm about to start my period or what, but I'm like on the verge of tears talking about this. There's so much good messaging in this book that is not explicitly said, but it's implicitly applied. It is so refreshing after reading so many books lately where they're just telling me exactly how the character feels, and I'm like, you telling me that? I will never feel that emotion. You'll never bring that emotion out of me. You doing this little number, it's working for me. I'm thinking about Delphi's growth, and I'm proud of her. I'm really proud of her. So I rated it 5 stars. Sue me. Realistically, I would say it's more of like a 4.75, but at that point, I'm just gonna round it up. Homegirl's in a good mood, homegirl's reflecting, and it was a really fun time. I have already gone into such like great detail about like some of the moments that I really liked, and the way that Christy, the author, gives you such huge messages but very subtly. Definitely think that it helped me get out of the slump. So maybe the whole message of this is just find a freaking good book and then it'll get you just right back into it. Honestly, like switching to an audiobook for the week, it really did help me. It took me a whole week to read that. Today's Friday and I finished it this morning at work. This book especially got me back into reading because immediately I wanted to move on to Left of Forever by Tara DeWitt, her book that just came out. I immediately was like, I want to read that like right now. So I guess that'll probably be my next read. I'm really excited. I'm glad this is over. It had definitely been 1 week too many in the slump, and I hope that I'm free of them for the rest of the year. Bye.